Welcome to Dynamic Classes. First of all, I want to start off with a lot of this came from Dr. Michael Moore from Texas A&M. I've added a lot of things and I changed a lot of things, but I just wanted to make sure he gets credit for some of the things that I went over today. Now, why are we doing this? We already showed you, and should have before you're watching this, the C++ STL version of a vector. We showed you some magic, how easy it is to use. We showed that it worked with an ADT, which is a data structures that can use any generic or custom data type that the vector would be able to hold. And I think we used student in our previous example. What we're doing on this set of notes and videos is we're going to mimic the exact same thing, the exact same STL vector, but we are going to manually create it as dynamic array. So this will help you learn, at least I'm hoping, will help you learn more about how the STL vector works and what's happening behind the scenes, the memory management that we have to worry about, the deconstructors, or I say destructors and constructors. I got to watch that. It's not deconstructor. But anyway, and your overall complete class profile that we've talked about before, because frankly, it's really, really important. All that stuff that you've learned already comes back into play. So there's actually not a lot of new stuff in here. There are some, and I'm going to go with that in the next video here in a moment. A lot of this is going to be very, very familiar because the code is going to look exactly like we did when we did the STL vector. So that's good news. Has arrays in it, has classes in it, has overloading of operators. A lot of this stuff is, frankly, well, not new. So that's the good news when it comes to most of what we're doing. So sadly, this one's going to be much, as you know, I try to do a lot of questions and stuff. You're not going to have that much, really, because it's going to be a show and tell, because you've already seen a lot of these things that are happening behind the scenes. So we are mimicking what we have done in the C++ vector. That's the biggest thing out of this whole entire page of notes. We're also going to talk a little bit more about the API, which is our application programmer interface. Remember, I'm dyslexic, so I got to watch out for that. The API indicates what is done, not how. Remember that we are handcuffed. I called it abstraction and your, well, integrity of a data structure. There's not a lot of applications that are supposed to happen to a vector, actually some more than compared to some other ones, because when we want to keep that data structure intact from having bad things happen to it. Let's put it that way. So that's what's going to happen with the API. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. But again, I just wanted to get the overall gist of what we're about to do. It's very familiar, extremely familiar, because you've seen already a lot of the code that, calling things come from the STL vector. We're just mimicking it manually by creating our own code to mimic the STL vector.